please, again, if you can, please go ahead and record this meeting. It will be very good if we did so. It will be very useful. Thank you.
All right, so everybody who has a commander tag on besides me, can you go ahead and please turn it off? Super, and if you're following us, go ahead and just take that off. Ronnie, take it off. All right, so Huntsman and I are leading it right now. Alara hopefully will join us shortly. I think she's still sleeping because she was up late last night.
You forget me.
And Archie is also helping us out. So right now we're going to go move to a camp or take one. So Huntsman, where should we go for that?
South.
South camp is clear for us to move on over to, so we can start heading out there now.
All right.
South camp has a dig.
So
FYI.
if everyone would
there's
like
a
to
couple
follow
yaks
me,
here, actually.
that's fine. We'll be fine. So this is the side way to get out to the camp. You can also run out the front, but there are side ways to get out of the spawn.
We're taking
so
it, I think.
we're gonna go take a camp.
Oh, wait, they are. Good.
You can go right or left, either way.
Swiftly.
I have a question.
Yes, what's your question?
When shit gets real, can we only have one commander talk, please?
When shit gets real. All right. Are you talking about right now?
No.
Or just in general, you'd like that to happen?
When shit gets real, I'd like
All
for
right.
one commander to talk.
If you could try not, if you could try not to cuss, that would be awesome. I did go over before that when I will be going over that as well. That if you are following a commander, you want. Well, I did say earlier that it's fine to joke around when we're not in a fight, but whenever a fight begins, you really need to start listening to the commander. So if everyone who missed it, we just killed a bunch of NPCs who were standing around in the camp.
No, that wasn't NPCs. Just NPCs. There was yaks as well.
Well, there was yaks, but I don't think they even saw them. They melted.
They're all food.
So
they're so easy.
Okay. So so where are we? So maps, and then we're going to do the camp.
Okay,
so this
now
is
you
supply.
are done with 2 papers. You have to remain, right? Okay, go ahead.
So this is supply. So everybody knows about supply, but each player can only hold 10 units of supply. If you haven't already, come up and stand on these little boxes over here. And if you already have supply or you know what it is, please don't pick it up. Okay. So each player can hold 10 units of supply. If you look up at the top, there is a little barrel with a 10 next to it if you have supply. You can up the supply that you can carry by a guild claiming a buff on it, and they can put a +5 buff on it, so you can hold 15. Or you can use your World v World rank points to level up your capacity, and we can go into that more later. Supply is arguably the defining factor in World v World because all of the buildable objects like siege blueprints and everything within towers such as gates, defensible upgrades, which are the mortars, cannons, and oil, and even the walls themselves require supply to be built, fortified, and repaired. All of the locations can hold a certain amount of supply in them. This is a resource camp that we're at right now, and it will generate supply on its own over time. So see, now there is some supply sitting there as we were there. The ones in towers and stuff do not just generate supply. They actually have to have the Doliacs run the supply to the tower. And that is all dependent on whether they make it there safely or not. So Doliacs are also considered caravans. The supply that you have can be used to build siege weapons or repair gates, walls. If you've run out of supply, your first priority should be to get more supply from the nearest resource camp. It is very important to never take supply directly from a tower or keep, unless there are some exceptions, of course. They already have an excess of supply, like they've gone through all the upgrades and there's an excess, or if you're instructed to drain the supply by the commander, like they don't intend to keep the thing, or that you need to defend and you need to drain the supply. So right now, everyone should have some supply on them. Does anybody have a question about supply? Do you not see your 10? Please put an H in local chat if you do. All right. So now, Arch, where should we go? Let's just go to the tower we already own. So everybody follow me. So the siege, or we're going to move to a tower and talk about the supply in that tower. Nobody has any questions so far or wanted to make any points on supply? Yeah, I guess I covered it all. This is a sentry, by the way, also known as a control point. Once you kill him, the circle comes up and you have to stand in the control point. And I'll go more into that later.
I had a question from a Soci stating, how often does supply reset? At what rate?
What rate at the camp? Does anybody know that exact number?
It's over 10 minutes.
At the camp, it takes 10 minutes for another one to
go
come
from
up?
0 to full.
Oh, to full.
So 10 every minute.
So 10 every minute, okay. So let's go to the camp, the tower we already own over here, guys.
Buster.
Any other questions so far?
The purpose of the sentries.
The purpose of the sentries. Well, I'm going to be going into that one when I talk about things that you can capture. So I just wanted to get everybody used to supply. So supply in this is the depot in the tower. It looks much like the one in the camp, but it's inside the tower. Supply in the depot is needed to build upgrades at this location, which is why it is very important to stay well stocked and to warn other players not to take from the depot. While under attack, supplies are used by players to repair the damaged gates, walls, and build siege weapons. The more supply you have saved up, the longer your defenders can hold out. So it's not always... I'll go over upgrades and stuff later, but it's not always a good idea to start an upgrade when you think you might be attacked, because the supply might be more important to build the siege weapons, which siege is our next thing. So Huntsman is going to help you guys go over how to hop on. There's 3 air carts here right now. If you already know an air cart, why don't you go ahead and get off it and let somebody else use it. You could check out the different things that you can do, and you have to practice how to move your camera so that you can see where you can hit well. So siege, it's placed by using blueprints purchased from their siege vendors and then built by players who are carrying the supply. Each player can only carry 10 supply at a time. To build any siege weapon, you'll need a few extra players to help build or be able to make multiple trips to a supply depot. So let me go ahead and link some of the basic siege.
Arch has already got some of the basic siege up in Say Chat.
Oh, okay. Oops, did it again. Okay, so if you hover over it, you can see that it tells you how much supply it takes to make and what its range is and stuff. You can extend your range on some of them, or the frequency of how you use it, or the amount of damage you do by using your world rank points to up those. There is also Superior Siege, which both of these can be also bought on the Black Lion. It's really not a good idea to buy them from the siege vendors because they are quite a bit more expensive than you can get at the the Black Lion if you wanted to get some siege. You also get siege when you're leveling up your world rank, so you usually have a bunch anyway, depending on how much you play. So to make superiors, though, you can buy them on the Black Lion, or you can craft them with the Mystic Forge. You can look that up on the wiki on the exact recipes, but you usually got to use a couple of the regulars and some other things to be able to make superiors. So the first thing is the arrow cart, or also known as ACs. People just type AC. These are the arrow carts in front of us. They're good for anti-personnel good. They're good for defending. It's always best to use a superior AC when you have the supply, because they do a lot more damage than the regulars, and you do have a siege cap on towers. So when you're defending, if you have a commander there, try to let them drop the siege, because they know the best placement and they might have the superiors that you might not have. So try to let them handle that when you're in there, because you do have a siege cap, so you can only place as much siege. Does anybody know the exact number or anything?
No, nobody truly knows.
Yeah. So you just gotta try to be careful. The next thing is the flame ram. Do we have a flame ram up or anything?
Do you want me to put one up?
Yeah, let's go ahead and drop it right behind the gate. Maybe they might actually use it to fear people or something. Alright, for the noobs, can you come over here and build this? Only if you're a noob, please. I know it's really fun to build stuff, but only if you've never done it before. I just want to give them a chance to do it. Just come up and stand right in the middle, and you can see that it's telling you if you want to build it. So then you go ahead and you push F, and you'll start to build it. Don't push F a bunch of times, because then it'll reset. You're trying to build it. So this is a flame ram, and if someone wants to hop on it, Archie, why don't you go ahead and hop on that? There are two things, the number 1 skill and the number 2 skill. Archie, do you want to explain about the flame ram?
Okay, the first skill is your basic ram attack. It does the most damage to your gates overall, and yeah, it's the basic skill. This second skill, intense flame blast. It's used before you get the upgrade. It is used for just burning other enemies around your ram if they ever try to attack you while you're on it. But every now and if you upgrade your ram ability, it'll give you extra ability things on the ram as well.
Yeah, so a couple of the things for the upgrade is the fire will actually do vulnerability to the gate, so that you can hit it more. And then the third one is really good because it'll make you actually increase the speed of which that you ram the gate.
And the first upgrade for ram is whenever you're using a ram, it will reduce any damage you take by 50%.
Yes. So if you're clicked on
it, question.
Go ahead. What's your question?
Is the damage reduction for you personally standing on the ram, or for the ram itself?
It's for you standing on the ram.
Yeah, for the first one, it's
you.
for you standing on the ram. If you max it out all the way, then you can grant it to the people around you. But that's only if you max out the that world v world thing. So the next thing is a ballista. Ballistas are mainly single target. They're for taking out enemy siege or other players. Superiors are usually best to use for that. For the flame rams, if time is not of the essence, you don't think you need to really get into the wall, not the wall. You can't use flame rams on walls. You can only use them on gates. Use superior if time's of the essence, because they do more damage. The catapults, is for knocking down walls. Superiors, you want to use superiors when you're attacking a wall. They do use the regulars for defending, for the knockback. So you might want to put like a catapult behind the gate so that you can knock people off of it so they can't. Maybe it'll knock them off the ram, or you can keep knocking them back until the arrow carts can kill them. Trebuchet, which I think we have up here. If anybody new to trebuchets wants to come up here and practice with it, you can. Trebs are used for knocking down walls from the safety of your own tower or defensible position.
Excelsior.
And they also have knockback, I believe. I don't know, I'm not really a pro at the treb. Usually want to have an extra person to help you sight it. So like if you're in a party, then you can point it at them on the map, so you can try to help you sight it and to see how far if you're hitting it. So it's always helpful to have a second person when you're doing the treb. The next thing is siege golems, which I don't believe we have any. Did anyone see any at the spawn or anything? Siege golems, there's two different kinds. There's the alpha, which is the small one, and omega, which is the big one. Alphas are good for on the gates. They can't do walls. They have to be on the gate, but they also have to be right up next to the gate, and they have to punch the gate. But omegas have rockets, which are good for walls or gates, and they stand a little bit farther back from the gate, so they don't get as much damage from the ACs and stuff. But you can, depending on where they put it. There's some etiquette for golems that everyone should know. You always want to ask before you take a golem that's sitting around. It's always nice to ask the map chat if anyone is saving this golem for something before you just go running around in it. You should only really be the driver of a golem if you're in TeamSpeak, because if you get if someone's coming, like if an enemy's coming from behind you and they want you to waypoint it back to the spawn, that you'll be able to hear them and respond quickly. So it's always best to be in TeamSpeak if you're going to be driving it. Usually players with a large amount of health should drive the golems, because that does correspond to how much health the golem has. Don't take. So usually they transfer the golems with Mesmer's teleport power, and you want to wait for the golem to take the teleport first, because I guess you can only teleport a certain amount of people per teleport. So you want to wait for the golem to go first before you take a teleport that a golem's using. And then also when you're in the alpha or the omega, you only want to use the number 1 skill, and if you can put that on auto, that's even better. You control right click on a power and it'll set it to auto power. And then the number 3 skill for defense. All the other skills are really kind of just for fighting against other players. So you never want to use that like whirly skill on the gate. It doesn't do as much damage as the number 1. Any questions about golems? That was kind of a lot of information.
Yeah, I have 2 suggestions.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, you have Yax with you in the woodland building golems, so our guys will get destroyed now. You should leave. Second thing is what I told you now, and that's it.
Well, if we get golems, it's all about World v World. Is you're gonna wipe and you're gonna die and you're gonna respawn and you're gonna run right back out to the fight. So I'm not afraid of getting wiped by Yax. So, and I hope you guys aren't either, because it's just a repair bill, and it's a learning experience every time you die. So. Siege also has a 1-hour refresh limit. So if you click on this trebuchet right now, you can't really click on it because he's on it, but yeah, thanks. So if you click on the trebuchet, There's a little castle at the top, and that gives you the timer of how long it has until it will self-destruct. It only has an hour, so if you ever see any siege, you should hop on it and then hop back off, and that'll refresh it.
My power is like a tidal wave.
Unless it's something that was misplaced, you don't want to refresh misplaced siege.
Hey, not to interrupt, but there's a group of like 30 coming right by the ruins.
A group of
Yeah,
30?
there are. Yeah, they're right outside, heading towards South Camp.
Yeah, they already got the Keith and Shiver reveal.
That's why I was telling you to go away. Our guys will die. Try to move
they
to
have golems
another
too.
borderland.
Yeah, they have golems, and they're probably gonna hit South Camp before coming and capping our bottle cap tower.
Okay, well, why doesn't everybody waypoint?
Oh God, they're coming. God,
Alright,
Jesus.
don't get in combat, everyone waypoint. Don't get in combat, just everybody waypoint back to the spawn. Don't run, just waypoint. Everybody waypoint. If
They're
you
gonna be
want to
pissed off
stay
because we
and,
just
and
flipped
fight
that.
them, you can go ahead. But everybody just waypoint and ignore it, please. So then I already talked about the siege cap, so you don't want to just throw stuff willy-nilly. When you are at, before you build a siege, try clicking on it first just to make sure that it is something that is appropriate for where that is placed. Like, you don't want to put an arrow cart right in front of a gate. Sometimes people will drop them on accident or on purpose if they're being silly, and you don't want to waste your supply on it. So always try to click on a siege blueprint before you build it. And that's about the siege. So the next thing we were going to do was to take over a tower. So why don't we go ahead and head to home borderland then, since everybody is afraid of the axe. Why don't we click on the tower like we did before, and then click on the Ehmry Bay borderlands. That's where everyone should be going. If you want to get out of combat and follow us, you can. If you're advanced and you don't really want to follow me anymore, that's fine. You can go ahead and play for a little bit and listen at the same time. So everyone click and go to Ehmry Bay borderlands.
So all siege has a 1 hour timer on it of decay?
Yeah, all siege except for the ones that are for the towers upgraded siege, which are the cannons, the oil, and the mortars. Those don't need to be refreshed, but anything you drop with a blueprint needs to be refreshed.
Excuse me,
Because I
KiKi.
think Rams only have it's like a 10-minute decay on Rams. Or so.
It's a 10-minute decay if you don't completely build it.
That's for the blueprint itself. So when you drop a blueprint, you have to build it completely, otherwise it'll disappear in 10 minutes. Does that make sense? So once it's built, it has an hour.
You should be right to waypoint the party to Bay in home borderland, but there is still a 3-minute timer on the southwest tower.
Alright, that's plenty of time. Okay, so everybody waypoint to Bay. So here, I'm going to put it in map chat as well. So the bay that we were talking about earlier, the Keep Bay. Go ahead and waypoint to that. And we will run to the other thing. Is Alara on yet, Huntsman?
She is. She's doing guild missions, I think.
Is she though, or is she just asleep? I think she fell asleep on TeamSpeak.
Oh. Alright. Never mind. So we're going to go take a tower. So Huntsman, can you lead them? And I'll just kind of follow you.
But my game has frozen for this
You want me
second.
to? I'll come back. Want me
Yeah. Oh no, yeah. Waypoint, and then just lead everybody how to get out of here, because some of the new people don't really know how to get from one place to another.
Because I was scouting tower first before we went.
Yeah. So we're going to capture a location. There are multiple locations that you can capture. You can see them on the map by the little icons. Each one has either a guild lord or a guild claimer, which when you kill him or her, it will a big red circle will appear around it, and I think it's a different color depending on what color you are that week. Right now it'll be a red circle. And you need to stand in the circle and make sure no enemies or enemy NPC players enter it, so that you can cap, quote unquote, the location. Cap is short for capture. So we're gonna go capture that tower that's already being attacked.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt. Sorry to interrupt you, KiKi, but some of the guys are saying that they have problems with the information now because it's too much. So, would you try to say more of guidelines, not to dive into all the details? Because some guys have been whispering now, saying that they feel like they got lost along the way while you were explaining, because there has been so many stuff that has been said. I know you are trying to do your best just to explain all the details in one time, but some people are getting lost, especially the total new guys. So maybe you should just, with whatever information you still have to tell our guys, maybe try to cut it short to guidelines now, so that they don't get lost. You understand what I mean?
I understand that it's a lot of information, and that's why I kind of want someone, if you do have a question, to speak up or to type. But I also have a lot of people who already know a lot of this stuff, and they would like some of the detailed stuff. So I am sorry, it's a lot of information.
Yeah, guys, this is a mixed class between very new to the game, very new to World v World, and intermediates. So as we keep saying, if you do have a question, if you do feel like you're being left behind, feel free to ask myself, Huntsman Oak, KiKi Bones, or X Arch any questions, and we'd be more than happy to answer them for you.
Or if you're too afraid to do it right now, you can just write it down, and afterwards we can all talk about it in more detail, or go over it in a bit more general way for you if you want. But I think I'm just gonna keep going the way I am, if that's okay, Aragoorn. Archie, are you dead? Archie?
No, I'm right here.
Okay, go ahead and drop. Are they defending it right now? Yeah. So,
yeah, they're defending.
Okay, which just a second, please. Which borderland are you in now?
We're in home, capping Southwest Tower.
Okay, then here's what we are going to do, because I think that the people that remaining now may be more. I think at this point it may be useful for us to split channels between the guys that are totally new to World v World and want this kind of information, and between the people that want to stay for the advanced group stuff, because as I told you, some have begun saying that they feel like they are overwhelmed with information. I know that some of our new guys are good with that, but as I told you, I'm just beginning to get some whispers about guys getting overwhelmed and stuff. So please, let's go ahead, and maybe we can make another channel for the total new guys, so that you can feel free to spend all the time you want, explain all the details. And the rest of us maybe stay in another channel. Or actually,
we can. Aragoorn,
we can move.
Yeah, we can use the Zerg's channel. It's open right now.
Okay.
The Uber
I
noobs.
really think we should play with the group because this is, I don't know.
Okay, okay guys, here's the KiKi.
Is Drachma on right now?
Is what?
Drachma? Yeah, he's on.
Can you just make us another room for everybody who
No,
wants to go?
you stay here. This is your room. This is where your meeting was
Yeah.
supposed to be.
So I want to make a room for people
There's
who
already a
still
room
want to
made.
talk.
There's 12 rooms.
Yeah, we will
Okay.
go for the Zerg of Zerg channel. The guys that will that don't need this all information. Okay,
Well, I'd
if you
still
don't,
like it to be about learning, so I want to go to room 2, advanced tactics. If you want to do that, go ahead and go down there, and Aragoorn and whoever, you guys can organize something about advanced. So
yeah, okay.
go ahead and do
As
that.
you hit, guys, if you want to stay for the basics, if you want all the details, feel free to stay here with Kiki. She is explaining all the details she can give you. She is doing her best, so try to be patient with her. The rest of you that feel like you don't need all that info, please go ahead and change to the Zerg of Zerg channel, and we will continue our talk.
Why not
Alright,
use
sounds
room
good.
2?
Just quickly, guys, anybody in TeamSpeak, you in the Lord's Tower, you want to focus on the Guild Lord, the Champion Tower Lord, rather. When we capture a tower like we've just successfully done, which was great work by everybody, when you get up here to the top of the tower, you want to focus on the Champion Lord. As soon as the Champion Lord is down, the tower will set on a timer, and we can then capture it.
So the things that I'm still going to go over are some more details about capturing, and then if you want, I can go over upgrading and defending, and then I'm going to go over some slang terms that you should know that people use when they're in the public World v World chat and stuff, and then just some general things about what you can do about like joining a Zerg or scouting or forming havoc parties and stuff. So that's all I'm going to go over after. So if you want to stay for that, please do. So we just captured this tower, which I couldn't really explain while we were doing it, but we had to get through the walls and the gate. So at this point, we put the flame ram, and so we did the flame ram instead of knocking down a wall. There's lots of different tactics you can do to get into a tower, but you need to get up to the Lord's room. Which now we have a champion tower lord right here in the middle. If you look at him, he has a buff. If you click on him, underneath him there's a righteous indignation buff, and I believe that lasts for 5 minutes after you capture something. So if someone just captured something, usually, it could probably take you about 5 minutes to get into the tower anyway, so usually towers and keeps, you don't really have to worry about it too much. But for camps, if they just flip the camp, then you're going to have to wait out that timer because he is now invulnerable and he does more damage. They also call that indig or RI for righteous indignation. Yeah. So we just captured a tower, and if you're defending the tower and the circle is up, you want to try to get into the circle. To contest, they call it. So try to go contest it. Means to get in the circle so that they can't actually capture the tower. So you want to try to stay alive as long as you can until help can arrive. Or you can try rezzing the guild lord or the guild claimer in a camp so that the circle will then go away so that you have more time. Camps have a veteran, so you usually need about 2 people to take a camp. Some people can solo them, but usually you want to try to bring 2 people. Towers have a champion, so this guy was a champion grade. If you play PvE, you know how hard it is to solo a champion. So you usually want about 4 people. Keeps have a champion as well, but they also have 2 gates. So there's an inner gate and an outer gate. So you'll need at least 6 or more people because you need that much supply to build something to get through both walls. They call that the inner and the outer wall. And then there's which we are in now, is the Lord's room. After you capture, then you're going to have that righteous indignation. So the other things that you can capture, if you look at the map, there's the sentries and the Doliacs. Which if you see the little flags, we captured one earlier, that's a sentry. Sentries are also known as control points. You can kill the sentries or Doliacs by soloing. They give you event and World v World rewards. The sentries do give you 1 point towards your total points. They don't tally like capturing a tower would, but I'll go into that in a little bit about how the points work. And then sentries and Doliacs are a good way to indicate where an enemy is headed on the map. The sentries actually leave the little flags when they're taken over, but Doliacs just disappear from the map. So if you're watching the map, you'll notice them disappear or a sentry flip, so you can kind of tell where they're moving to. But you can take it solo, so you kind of have to keep that in mind. It might not be a lot of enemies, it might just be 1 or 2. But the flip side also applies. Sometimes a commander will ask you not to kill the sentry because they don't want the enemy to be alerted of their position. So if they ever ask you not to kill a sentry, that is why. If everyone comes down to the bottom, we're going to go just quickly over upgrading. So we just flipped this, so now it's like paper, they call it. So it's got paper walls and doors. There is a quartermaster over here that says upgrades next to her name. And if you click on her, she says, I'd like to order upgrades, and you can look at the upgrades. Don't actually order an upgrade right now. We don't really have enough supply. So there's personnel and structure.
What do you need?
So when upgrading, you can upgrade camps, towers, or keeps, or SM in Eternal Battleground. It costs the person doing the upgrading, when you order the upgrade, money and karma to do the upgrade. You don't want to start an upgrade till you know that you can defend the camp and that you aren't going to be attacked shortly. Because like I said earlier, it is often a better defense to have the supply rather than an upgrade going that wastes all your supply so that you can build siege weapons. Also, it's always best to ask the commander or anybody on the map to see if they're doing upgrades, or if you should start one. You should always ask which one to start, because they usually want different things. So upgrades on the location's supply, and it uses this location's supply. So you need a steady stream of Doliacs coming in it to complete it. You usually want to wait till you have a lot of supply in the depot, and then also make sure that you're protecting the camps around it. So you got to be ready to defend your upgrade if you're going to start one. You don't just upgrade something and then map hop to another thing. Only do 1 upgrade at a time generally, because it does take so much supply. The main priority for the keeps usually is to get a waypoint in it, because it makes it a lot easier to defend. Like we have a waypoint in the bay that we just used. That's from upgrading it, and that takes a little while, and we like to defend those when you have them. Fortify is usually like the last thing you want to do, because it takes quite a lot of time and money to do, and usually it's a little bit of a waste of supply if you have other things that you could get. Every time you do an upgrade, it will raise the max level of supply that can be held in the tower. So right now, supply depot up in the right says supply in the depot is 60 of 100. So once you do an upgrade, it'll be 60 of 125. So it'll just keep going up. So that's always a good thing for upgrading, so that you have more supply. Huntsman, did you want to go over anything?
No, I'm pretty sure you've covered all of that. How is everybody going? Are we all keeping up now? Any questions?
Anybody want to write it in? We're looking at it now. You good? You're good? No questions? Were any of you want to go back to another thing that you want me to go over, like in a more simple term, or did you understand supply and how to capture a tower? It's pretty simple. You'll learn it as the more you do it. You'll learn different things about it.
There's still 4.5 minutes on the southeast tower, so if we can find some stuff to fill in those 4.5 minutes, we might be able to go capture that tower again, because we did quite well capturing this one.
Yeah. So the rest of the things I'm going to talk about is terms and slang and things that you can do when you're in World v World. So we can go ahead and start moving to something else and taking that other tower. So why don't you guys all, let's just drain the supply here. Or actually, let's run to the camp. We'll go to the camp first. A lot of World v World is running. It's running from the waypoint to the bottom of the map. So everybody follow me. And you want to watch out for thieves and mesmers. And if you're in a Zerg like this, you want to stay as close to everybody else as possible. You don't want to go running, chasing things by yourself, because you'll usually be picked off. And that's
KiKi,
not fun.
there's a question.
Mhm.
From Star Nimrits, is it bad to follow Guild Zerg?
Usually, it all kind of depends on the guild, on how they feel about that. As long as you're trying your best to keep up with them and do what they do, then it's not bad form. You can follow them. Usually you can ask them. I mean, you can always give them a question like, can I join you guys in TeamSpeak? Because that really does help them and help you to follow them. Like Void does have an open policy if you wanted to come and follow them on their raids. They just ask that you do come in TeamSpeak with them so that you can listen to his directions. So it's usually you want to ask. I mean, it's nice to ask, but you can always just follow them too. But if they are Zerg busting, some of them do look down on if you're an up level and they have a bunch of down people and then they kill you really easily, then they'll all get a rally. So it can be a hindrance, but as long
and
as
a thing to note when running with a guild is a guild, they often run together, 3, 4, 5 times a week. So they're quite efficient. They're very fast, very fluid in what they do in World v World. So sometimes it is easier to run with a mixed guild Zerg in one of the World v World channels, as they are a little slower. There's more people, so you're safer in numbers. And when you're running with a guild, it is very fast-paced. It's great fun, and we encourage it. But it is very fast-paced. There is a lot more action involved. And all guilds are, we are all constantly looking for new members for the guild also. So if any of you find that you really enjoy World v World and would like to join a World v World dedicated guild, don't hesitate to contact the World v World guild leaders and get in touch with us, and we'll see if you can jump on our guild.
And that's the same with any World v World guilds. Just don't feel like even if you're new, just ask them, and they're nice people. So everyone grab supply here, and then we're gonna go to that other tower. Does everybody have 10 supply? Come grab some supply.
Real quick, KiKi, Tevil Spunk's
Yeah.
got another question for you.
Sure. What is
in Say Chat?
Off-topic question: how do you have Soothing Mist buff while attuned to fire? How do I have? That means that because you're giving me the buff, because you're attuned to water. If I hover over it, it says the source, and the source is you. So I'm attuned to water, and now I have the buff. But it is a trait thing.
Hey guys, this was another Zerg, so don't get too caught up with them.
Follow KiKi, don't follow them.
So we
But
can
I
go
believe
watch...
we're all going to hit the same tower.
Oh,
we can
yeah,
go...
I guess so.
Yeah, we're going to hit the same tower. That's fine. We can just go join them in their
There's still
zerginess.
1 minute on the tower, so by the time we set up siege, it should be good.
Okay. This is the Zerg of Zergs. They run a lot of things. It's like they're gonna go take the camp first. So let's kill this guard. Kill the guard. Don't follow them. We'll just stay here. Start this. So Archie, do you want to start the assault here and tell them what to do and stuff? I'm gonna start going over the things. So a Zerg is considered a large number of players who congregate to capture objectives. So large groups running around together are Zergs, if you didn't know already. Spawn is used for enemy borderlands, waypoints, and the EBG waypoint is also a spawn. We all often refer to the borderland on home as Citadel because that's what it's called, and it's in a different location. The enemy spawns are protected by legendaries, which will one-shot you if you try to go to them. So if you see behind us on the map, there is a contested border waypoint. That is someone else's spawn back there. If you try running into it, you will get one-shotted by an NPC. So don't go over there. So don't get too close. If you start chasing people back to their spawn, don't get too close over there. The other thing is points per tally, which is PPT. So at the top of your screen, incoming is 2. Alright.
We got 3.
Yes, 3.
Alright, turn and...
If you click on the gate, there will be a buff on it called structural vulnerability. That is what we were talking about before.
Ah yes, if you click on the gate, you can see that it has a debuff on it for vulnerable to the gates, which makes it goes down faster. Alright, so we'll be fine. Just watch out for any red circles, because they might be putting up some arrow carts or something.
Yeah, they've already got an arrow cart up.
Is oh my god, everyone's here for that. They're helping out. Where is their arrow cart? Is it up by the Lord's Room? Yeah, it's up here by the Lord's Room if you look at the top. Try to AoE it if you have.
KiKi, do you want to explain the orange swords?
Yes. So if you look now, we have the orange swords on there. That's another one of these things I'm going to go over. Orange swords means that there are 20 or more people who are hitting the same thing or taking damage at the same time. So because everybody's hitting the gate, we are popping the orange swords, so to speak. Also...
Incoming behind us.
Incoming. Everyone turn around. That's only 4 of them.
Don't run towards them, guys. Just build a barrier between them and the
Don't chase.
turret.
Okay, everybody disengage and come run into the tower. And then you want to run straight for the Lord's Room. Don't kill the other stuff. Just run straight up to the Lord's Room. You don't really want to stand on the bridge because you can get knocked out. You want to run straight into the Lord's Room and then try attacking the Champion Lord. He is the main priority. If you get hits on him, you get a bag. And then as soon as you get him, then the circle comes up. And so if everybody in here is on your side, then the little tick on the top right, and now we captured it. See that happen. So the orange swords, it's always good to call those out when you see them, because that means that there is an enemy Zerg. Or it could be your own Zerg, so you kind of have to watch to see if there's a commander tag. It's always a good idea. If the commander tells you to not PVD or PV door, that is because they don't want to make orange swords. So if they're like attacking a keep, they don't want them to know which gate they're actually attacking. So the difference between orange swords and then just contested with the white swords around the actual icon on the map means it's white sword just means it's contested, and that means that someone is attacking it. It could be a small group, it could be one person hitting the door, or it could be, you know, they already have the door down, so you don't really know how many people until the orange swords pops up. So they want you to try to not PvE to the door. If they tell you to go ahead and PvE door, then you should just hit the door, but you want to try to not do that when you're trying to be sneaky. Another one. Oh, I was going to go over points per tally. So if you look at the top, there is a plus 280 right now. That's our points per tally. And then next to it is the timer. So every 15 minutes, we get 280 points to our score. The things that count for points per tally is the resource camps are 5 points. Towers, which we just took, is worth 10 points. Keeps, which are the bigger castle ones, are 25 points. And then Stone Mist Castle, which is only in Eternal Battlegrounds, which is in the middle of Eternal Battlegrounds, that's worth 35 points. Sentries are worth 1 point, but they don't tally every 15 minutes. They're only worth 1 point when you take them. So you immediately get the 1 point when you take a sentry towards your score. They don't count towards the tally. Does that make sense to everybody? The tallies? The points?
How often does the tally reset again?
Every 15 minutes. So right now we have about 10 minutes left to hold this tower, and we will get the 10 points that we got. If we lose it before the tally is up, we don't get the points. So if you remember that it has a righteous indignation, which is 5 minutes, if you take a tower, and there's only 4 minutes left on the points per tally, then you're pretty much guaranteed to get the points. Because they can't take it until that buff is off of the
Righteous
Lord.
indignation.
Yeah, righteous indignation. The indig, they call it. Sups means supply. Some people just type sups in the chat. PVD or PV door means attacking the gate without siege, just you attacking the gate. Treb for trebuchet, cata for catapults, AC for arrow cart. Port or TP means refers to the teleport that Mesmer uses in their utility. Has everybody seen a teleport before? It's a little pink thing on the ground. Hey, look, there's one. So this is a teleport. This means it's not active yet, and then once he activates it, then you can use the teleport and hop back and forth. So that's what they use to transport the golems as well, that I was talking about earlier. Flip refers to, or flipped, for a location that has been captured by an enemy, or you can use it to flip it back, like we want to flip back that camp. Capping is capturing, usually used when the red circle is up, that they're about to cap it with the red circle up. Back capping is for flipping back locations to our side after it has been taken. Karma train is the term for a Zerg that's main objective is to just cap as many locations as possible. They're not really concerned with defending or keeping, the PPT up. They're just karma training. Usually not the best tactic, but a lot of fun to do. The timer. Whenever someone says timer, they're referring usually to the indignation buff on a flipped location that we talked about. But there's also a thing as the waypoint timer, or timer on a keep, which is referring to when a keep has an upgrade and a waypoint. If it ever gets contested or attacked, then you can't use the waypoint. It'll have white swords around it, and that is determined by a defend event at the top. They'll say defend the tower. See, like right now it says defend the tower in the top right. But it'll also have a timer at the bottom, and it's usually 2 minutes. Every 2 minutes, that defend event will reset, and you can actually use the waypoint for 1 or 2 seconds before the next event pops up if they're still attacking the tower. So if anybody says, Hills is contested, what's the waypoint timer? That's what you mean. So if they ask you, you look up at the top, and whenever that defend event is about to be over, it has a little countdown timer. You just tell them that. So it'll be like, it's minute 40 on the waypoint timer. Does that make sense? Okay. Inner and outer, I think I kind of went over that, refers to the 2 gates of a keep, because there's an inner wall and an outer wall that you have to get through. Stacking is when you stand or run as close to a commander as possible. So everybody stack on me, they'll say that. Everybody stack, 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 stack. Get as close to me as possible. Stack, 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 stack. And this works usually because everybody gets the buffs. So when I add these buffs, I'm going to drop a static. I don't know if you know about combo fields yet, but we will be going more over those when Itty gets on. But this is a static field. If you have any blast finishers, that's when you want to use those. I'm going to drop another field. I'm going to drop a fire field. And if you blast that one, everyone see it says area might. So now we have 16 stacks of might. And you only get that if you're stacking, because everybody's got to be together. And if you want to blast that one, I think you get retaliation, which is pretty awesome too. So we can go a little more into that if you guys want. I just want to get through the last one. The next thing is CCs, which is crowd control. So if you have immobilize or stuns, that's what they're calling for, is CCs. So I'll usually drop my static field, which is a CC, right into the enemy group. So if you have any CCs, you want to try to stun as many people as you can so you can attack them. DPS, does anybody remember what DPS means? What's the
damage per second?
Damage per second. So DPS means damage per second, so they're usually calling for you to do as much damage as you can. So
You'll also hear it referred to as deeps.
Deeps, yes, deeps and DPS.
Refreshing.
Anybody else know any slang that I didn't really call on at the moment? Bring in the deeps. Yep, bring in the deeps. All right. So the other thing I was going to go over is things to help your server. There's a lot of different things you can do when you get into World v World. It is a little overwhelming. But there is a lot more to just following a Zerg, which a lot of people think that is. I mean, it's always a good thing to follow the Zerg, especially if you're an up level and you can't really, go off and do things on your own. But if you want to challenge yourself, there's lots of different things you can do. One you should do, which isn't really challenging, but is refresh Siege whenever you see it, because it does have a waypoint timer. So following the Zerg is one thing, usually spearheaded by a commander, like the commander tag I have above my head right now. If you can make it to where they are on the map and join the commander, they're usually going around after key objectives such as keeps and towers, or they're there to defend a tower. So usually you want to be in TeamSpeak so you can listen to your commander, and you can be a lot more effective in a Zerg than just mindlessly following them. You can help them call, when there's incoming, like you saw already, and stuff like that. So it's really important to be in TeamSpeak, at least listening. Even if you can't type, you can always type on map chat or team chat. Scouting is another thing. Someone who communicates in World v World is extremely valuable. You just want to go and have a look around, look for the enemy on the map. If you go near their captured locations, see if they're defending it or not. See what siege they have up or how many people are in there. Give an estimate on how many are in the Zerg. Where you spotted them and where they're headed is good information. Usually you want to give them an estimate of how many people. I know it's kind of hard for some people to, maybe if you don't have really good graphics, or just you're not really used to counting how many people there are in a group. Usually want to go from like 1 to 5. You're like, oh, there's 2 people, there's 3 people, and then 5. And then you can start kind of rounding, like, oh, there's about 10 of them, or there's about 15 or 20 or 30 plus Zerg, But it's all good information if you're a scout to just relay that to the map, because it helps a lot. Another thing you can do is forming like small parties, like roaming parties or havoc groups. Killing or deterring enemies, stragglers or reinforcements, so they can camp their spawn and make sure that they can't get back to their Zerg. Defending or destroying the Doliacs. Defending Doliacs is a very noble thing to do, especially when someone's upgrading. Destroying their Doliacs can be very aggravating to them. Capturing enemy camps, because you can usually do it with like one or two people or more. Tagging is another term, which means attacking an enemy keep, such as a waypoint such that has a waypoint, so that it becomes contested, so they can't actually use the waypoint unless it's like every 2 minutes. So if you just keep tagging a waypoint, then they can't actually come in. Or they use it to distract them, like, oh, they're going for hills, so let's go contest Bay by tagging it. Providing intel about an enemy Zerg, size and position, creating diversions, just roaming around. You want to usually be a high survivability or escapability if you're going to be a scout or in a roaming party. But, if you're not afraid of dying, then you just give it a go. There's another thing you can do, which is forming a mesmer and scout and thief party, which is you sneak into the different keeps. So if you were a mesmer, you'd use your portal. Usually a thief is helpful because they can stealth you. So a mesmer and a thief could hide and stay stealthed until they leave. And then you can wait and just let the map know that, oh, we're a mesmer in, southeast tower. And then they'll usually come over. And then if you could activate your portal, jump down, and then you can portal everybody inside. And they don't even have to break the door down. So that's a fun thing to do. If you get good at it, you're very sneaky. And that's it. Does anybody else have any comments or anything? I know I talk a lot and it's kind of boring, but
we all know that, KiKi.
But there's a lot of information there, and I know it's a lot and you're not going to remember everything, but if you ever are just running around in World v World and you wanted to ask a question or anything, I know it can be a little intimidating when you're in the public chat channels to talk to people, but I'm sure there's always at least one or two who are willing to help, and you can ask them if anybody's willing to help me. I'm kind of new to this, and then maybe you can hop down to another channel and they can help you. I'm always willing to help you, and I'm sure a lot of other people in here are as well. So if you ever have questions, you just ask. Nothing's a stupid question. Some people on map chat are a little mean, and you just gotta ignore them. Don't people troll, you've played video games before. Just don't listen to them. We're gonna be doing this a lot, so we'll probably do it again at another, I want to try to do them during the week and on next weekend. For the advanced class, we're gonna try to do different commanders from different guilds. So Iddy's gonna get on soon once they're done with their guild mission, anytime from now to a half hour. So if you guys want to take a break, try to absorb some of that, or go chat, you can do that. You're free to chit chat and hang out. We're gonna go over with Iddy. We're gonna go over more into advanced tactics, like how exactly to follow a Zerg, where to know, what class you are, where you would be in the Zerg. Like, there is such thing as a front line and a back line in Zergs. Not everybody can just stay right on the commander and, dive through arrow cart fire. So there is, some things you want to do, but whenever they stack to buff up, everybody wants to stack. So there's lots of different things that he'll go into about how much armor you should usually have. You don't want to be a glass cannon in World v World. You want to have at least a certain amount of armor, no matter what you're doing. Toughness. So they're going to go over a lot of that stuff. And combo fields, like we just showed kind of briefly, you really want to start to recognize combo fields. That's static field, fire field, water fields. Usually they call it a water bomb. If fields overlap, the first one that's dropped is the one that'll get the blast combo finish.
I actually didn't know that.
Yes, so if you do have a lot of fields that you drop, you want to try to be aware of them when you're dropping them. So if someone calls for a water field and you just dropped a fire field and everybody's blasting it, they're all getting might instead of healing. So they, if they really needed a healing bomb, you probably just screwed up their whole thing. So you want to try to be aware of this stuff. You don't want to just spam your skills. If so if you hover over your skills, like if you look at this one, I'm gonna put it in the local chat. This is if you hover over it, it says combo field.
Time to do some real damage.
Field means that you can combo with it. You can either do a finisher, or a which could be a blast or a leap finisher, or a projectile finisher. So those combo with each other. So you gotta know where your blasts are, because they often call for those. Yeah. So we'll go into more. I think that he's gonna go into a lot more later. But anybody have any questions? You guys can all start talking now if you want. I feel like I've been talking a lot, so I'm just gonna shut up for a little bit.
Yeah, we're getting a bit sick of you now, KiKi. Moving on.
You go over the commanders and the starting camps. Back on them, you get to.
Oh, you're kind of cutting out. Go over the commanders. What?
Commanders in the very beginning that people see, the commanders that are just standing there.
Oh, the Siege Razor and Siege Razor. I was wondering if you guys wanted to know about that. There's a lot of people who don't know what those are. But the one thing that a lot of people use Siege Razor and Siege Razor for is if you all stack up on him, he'll give you 10 supply after the timer ticks down. That's usually what everybody knows. That's really all they really use him for. But the only time he gets activated is when you own nothing on the map. So someone has taken over the entire map. Siege Razor and Siege Razor will be activated. One of them goes to one side of the map and the other goes to the other side of the map. They're taking the closest tower to that spawn. So you all stack up on him. You need at least 10 players to activate him. And then if you gotta stand nice and close to him. And then he'll give you 10 supply. And then he'll start walking out towards the tower. He's really slow, and usually you'll be made fun of by other commanders if you're following Siege Razor. So you want to stay on the actual commander, because they usually go and capture a camp or something and then come back, and then he'll finally be there. Because he's really slow. But he gives you a nice buff. So, if you only have a couple people and you want to go out there and use Siege Razor, you certainly can. He goes out there and he drops the siege blueprints for you, and you just have to build them. And they have little blue bubbles, which protects you for like 2 minutes. You're protected from damage. And there's also a Doliac that comes with him that attacks the door. He doesn't put a ram down, which is just completely silly.
He puts a ram down.
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
Siege Razor always puts a ram down.
No.
If you call the yak a ram, then I guess so.
No, I've never had him not put a ram down.
Well, no. When people are attacking a tower with Siege Razor, I can't say that properly. They usually put a ram down.
Yeah.
They might put one with him, but I've never seen him not put one down.
Well, either way, he puts a bunch of siege and you build it and you attack the tower. So if the Doliac that comes with him survives, the Doliac will then put 100 supply into the tower, so that it's got a full supply when it comes. If you ever start Siege Razor and you already own, someone's got an open mic.
Clutch pro.
I do it.
So if you ever start Siege Razor and you already own the tower that he usually takes, Siege Razor or Siege Razor, he'll activate, give you supply, and then he'll take the Doliac to that tower and give it supply, 100 supply. But I obviously can't capture it, so he'll just skip the whole dropping the siege part, and he'll just go give it supply. And that's Siege Razor and Siege Razor. They call it the breakout. So anyone asks, oh, we need more people for the breakout, that's what that is. Okay, you guys can talk now.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome. I hope you learned something. Anybody want to share, even if they're kind of experienced, if they learned anything that they didn't know before? If you stick around, go ahead and take a break. If you don't have want to talk or anything, just go take a break. Itty will be on for the advanced class, and you'll learn a lot from him. It's a lot of fun running in an experienced Zerg to see how that works. Just wiping other players, it's a lot of fun. It's really
I won't be on for the advanced class though.
Oh, you're not?
No.
Is it everybody else gonna stay for the advanced class?
I'd like to.
Star isn't.
Yeah, it's getting a little late.
Not for me and Huntsman.
Oh, for you guys.
It's still early.
Australia time.
Oh, actually, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Jeez. That went
No,
quickly.
there will be no test, but
Let's do some more TA.
if I ever see you following Siege Razor, I will probably make fun of you.
What did I say? Yeah. Hey, Huntsman, at 6 o'clock, I thought it was like... I wasn't really paying attention to the time. I thought